Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have bad luck for the rest of the week. Home to an astonishing number of exquisite flora and fauna, Brazil is undoubtedly one of the most exotic places on Earth. Even more so since Brazil contains most of the Amazon rainforest. It is abundant in unique and rare natural specimens. Its unique and mesmerizing landscape and culture have drawn tourists to it from all over the world, but it also has a lot of distinctive and bizarre things to offer, both fascinating and ferocious. From strange animals to peculiar places, there is no scarcity of odd and unfamiliar things and creatures in the tropical country. To this day, new discoveries are still being made in Brazil that are hard to believe. For those with an inquisitive mind, Brazil is a treasure trove of oddities, sometimes awe-inspiring, sometimes terrifying. These findings are definitely worth learning about. So let's talk about 10 such outrageous things in the beautiful country of Brazil. Number 1. 33 feet or 10 meters anaconda. Anacondas are one of the largest and heaviest snakes in the world, capable of constricting big animals to death. Naturally, they're extremely intimidating, capable of sending shivers down anyone's spine. Fortunately, their territory doesn't overlap much with human spaces, so encounters with them are rare. However, one of those rare encounters happened in Brazil. A 33 feet or 10 meters anaconda was found lurking in caves near a dam construction site in Brazil. The huge reptile, which reportedly weighed a whopping 882 pounds or 400 kilograms, was discovered by the workers after they carried out a controlled explosion in the Cave of Altamira in the northern state of Para. After stumbling across the frightening beast, the workers chained the animal to a crane and later lifted it up to reveal its yellow-spotted underbelly. There was no mistaking it. Its size, the scales on its body, and the black and yellow color confirmed it was an anaconda. However, its length is still an uncertainty, since it was difficult to accurately measure. Number 2. Gruta do Lago Azul, or Blue Lake Cave, is a breathtaking natural formation below the surface found in Bonito Mato Grosso do Sul. Visitors who take this nearly 300 steps journey down arrive at a dazzling lake with crystal clear blue water. The circular entrance illuminates the lake with sunshine that paints the clear water with its signature blue shade. The transcending beauty of the lake is especially visible from September to February. The lake is contained between naturally sculpted stalactites and stalagmites, almost like the jaws of a predator. How deep the lake is has still yet to be completely measured, but up to 87 meters or 285 feet have been reported so far. And there's even more to the remarkable intrigue. Fossil bones of giant sloths, armadillos, and saber-toothed tigers have been found there, which inhabited the land for more than 12,000 years in the Pleistocene era. The breathtaking spot has been listed as a protected area since 1978, but tourists are allowed to visit it in limited numbers. Number 3. Giant emerald. Rare and precious gemstones like sapphires, rubies, and emeralds are all highly coveted. But there is one particular cluster of emeralds that puts most others to shame. The stone, weighing approximately 752 pounds or 341 kilograms, originated from Bahia, Brazil. The emerald was found in an area of Brazil known to produce magnificent gems, the Carnaíba mine within the state of Pernambuco. The cluster of gems was found 200 meters or 656 feet deep in the mine, and required 10 people a full week to extract and lift the cluster to the surface. Its weight is equivalent to approximately 1.7 million carats, which is quite mind-blowing for a rare gem. The stone is just as impressive in its beauty, emanating a lustrous sheen. Even a fraction of it would fetch an incredible price and eye-popping attention from people. So the finding was most probably life-changing for its owner. The stone, dubbed the Bahia Emerald, has naturally caused disputes over ownership. But in 2015, the title to the emerald was awarded to a company by the court. For those of you wondering what it's worth, the estimate is $310 million US. Number 4. Underground tunnels. In Brazil, a geologist found the opening to an underground tunnel that had, to that point, been undiscovered by people. That tunnel later turned out to be only one of possibly hundreds of tunnels located all over Brazil. But these tunnels are very unusual and unlike anything the geologists had seen before. What's so interesting about them is that they have smooth floors and walls covered in claw marks. One of the largest of these burrows found so far is in Rondônia, which is 0.9 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet wide, and about 609 meters or 2,000 feet long in total. It's very likely these, and other burrows, were dug by prehistoric animals. There is no living animal large enough that can dig these tunnels, so it must have been dug by an extinct animal. It also seems these tunnels have been in existence for over 10,000 years. Another enigma that remains is the purpose of these tunnels. They seem far larger than necessary to provide shelter from predators and the elements. Perhaps more information will be uncovered after further investigation. Number 5. Phallic snake. A strange creature has been discovered in the Amazon that is notable for its appearance. Depending on who you ask, they'll state the creature looks similar to an earthworm or a human phallus. Despite the elongated and cylindrical body, it is not a snake. It's actually a limbless amphibian, more specifically, a type of Sicilian. The animal was discovered while draining a portion of the Madeira River, a major tributary of the Amazon, for a controversial hydroelectric project. 6 individuals were found, according to biologist Julian Tupan, who identified the species as Itretocoana icelti. Little else is known about the species, although it is thought to be aquatic, as it lacks lungs and breathes through its skin instead. Other like individuals have been found near the mouth of the Amazon, more than 2,500 kilometers or 1,553 miles away. Sicilians are typically predators, feeding on small fish, worms, and other aquatic invertebrates. They have poor eyesight and navigate primarily through smell. Itretocoana icelti is the largest known Sicilian, attaining a length of 81 centimeters or 32 inches, or more than twice the size of the next largest known species. Number 6. Zombie frog. Named zombie frog by the discoverer, this frog is actually not anything out of a horror movie at all. The frog looks harmless, just rather strange looking. Then why was it named this way, you ask? Well, it's because the researchers are the ones who looked like zombies after pawing through the mud to find the frogs. The frog has a very distinctive pointy nose and a plump body. It is orange in color with lighter spots over its body. It is no small task to find these frogs, as the calls of the male frogs can only be heard after or during heavy rainfall. This means that herpetologists have to dig the animals out of the ground with their bare hands, usually completely soaked themselves, in order to identify them. The normally small and rather plump-looking members of the narrow-mouthed frog family live in nearly all places on Earth, usually hidden underground. And although the frogs were only recently discovered, they're highly endangered due to deforestation and climate change, among other reasons. Number 7. Amazon tribes in Brazil. Despite increased global connectivity, some parts of the world still remain isolated and undiscovered by the rest of the world. Even the Industrial Revolution didn't reach them, let alone the modern era of electricity. We're talking about the uncontacted tribes living in the Amazon rainforest. In 2007, FUNAI, a Brazilian governmental protection agency for indigenous tribes, reported the presence of 67 uncontacted indigenous peoples in Brazil, up from 40 in 2005. One example are the Awa people living in the eastern Amazon rainforest. There are approximately 350 members, and 100 of them have no contact with the outside world. They are considered highly endangered because of conflicts with logging interests in their territory. The Kawahiva are another people. They live in the north of Mato Grosso. They are usually on the move and have little contact with outsiders. Thus, they are known only and primarily from physical evidence they leave behind: arrows, baskets, hammocks, and communal houses. A third example, the Caribou, live in the lower Vale do Javari in the western Amazon basin. While not much is known about these tribes, images have surfaced showing them in bright red body paint and minimal clothing. Although indigenous people are romanticized for their culture and their isolation, there is a dark truth about them which is not well known. Some of them aren't entirely out of touch with the outside world, but the encounters they have with the modern world often result in them being killed, enslaved, or exploited, which is why they resist contact. Number 8. Amazon Stonehenge. The Parque Arqueológico do Solstício is an archaeological park located in Amapá State, Brazil, near the city of Carçoene. It contains a megalithic stone circle, colloquially known as the Amazon Stonehenge. This stone formation consists of 127 blocks of granite, each up to 4 meters or 13 feet tall, standing upright in a circle measuring over 30 meters or 98 feet in diameter, located at the bank of the Rio Grande River on a hilltop. Archaeologists believe that the site was built by indigenous peoples for astronomical, ceremonial, or burial purposes, likely a combination. However, the function of this megalithic site is technically unknown, much like other sites, such as Stonehenge, a much older site in Great Britain. After conducting testing, scholars determined that the megaliths were arranged about 1,000 years ago. This finding, along with other archaeological discoveries in Brazil in recent years, suggest indigenous peoples in the Amazon may have been far more sophisticated than assumed by archaeologists in the 20th century. Number 9. World's oldest pyramids. The mention of the word pyramid sends the human imagination to the arid land of Egypt, but pyramids are actually also found in several other places on Earth that were once inhabited by ancient civilizations. Off the eastern coast of southern Brazil, archaeologists have discovered the oldest pyramids in the world, older even than the ancient Egyptian pyramids by several centuries. Their research shows that these South American pyramids were much larger than the early pyramids of Egypt too, with their height about 49 meters or 160 feet, and their base expanding to nearly 40 acres. The functions of the pyramids were all the same: religious worship. However, the building concept was quite different. The Brazilian pyramids were made of endurable seashells. Another difference is the construction concept. Studies show the pyramids of the Americas seem to have been built in many phases that lasted decades, or perhaps even centuries. One of the largest surviving examples of this is found in the Brazilian state of Santa Catarina. Even today, this pyramid covers over 25 acres and stands at 30.5 meters or 100 feet, which is 20 meters or 65 feet less than the original structure. Number 10. Conjoined twin bats. A rare specimen of bats were discovered in southeastern Brazil in 2001 under a mango tree. The conjoined twins were found dead, with their placenta still attached to their shared body, which means they were stillborn or died shortly after birth. Animals with such birth defects aren't usually expected to live long. When x-rayed, it could be seen that, just like regular bats, the twins had 2 forelimbs and 2 hind limbs. However, they both had separate spines which eventually joined at the bottom of their back. Partial twinning is very rare and thus pretty understudied, so the researchers studying these bats hope to use the specimen to learn more about what caused 2 heads to emerge side by side on one body. That is all for today's video. Thank you all for watching. While you're here, go ahead and click on one of these 2 videos on your screen. See you there.